we join back in with our adventurers. After last week, the group had split off with Eleni, Volu, and Dante heading up and meeting Demetrius, a interesting, elusive servant, or appearing to be servant, of Madame Oracle. Upon arrival to a fairly dilapidated tower in a dusty area of the Zenith Ward, they were greeted by a floating quill of sorts, with a large feather that spoke to them and almost seemed a guard to any entry from people that would annoy their master. With some words and some money in the end, they did manage to get through and strike a deal with Demetrius, who does think that they might have a solution for Dante's possession problem.
What can go wrong?
What can go wrong, indeed.
That's like fatal last words, that, Chris.
Isn't it just? After which they headed back out and went down to do a little bit of research. We join them now as they finished up their research. They've gathered some food on the way home, and maybe are you trying to be sneaky as you enter the storehouse or at all? Like, how are you planning to? Because you go and get your food, that's all normal. But how are you planning? Like, have you thought? I think Eleni would have thought about it potentially.
I don't know if I'd have been thinking about being sneaky, although she's trying to generally be unobtrusive. But I think she's going to be more watching to see if anybody's watching where we're going, if that makes sense. So it's more about being alert than trying to be quiet.
That's why I make me a perception then.
We're not having Dante doing flips and tricks this time.
Dante's a bit more chilled out now.
Oh, Jesus Christ, 12.
It's okay. Doesn't seem like anybody's paying you any particular attention. As you pull up and you sort of, get out, and what are you planning to do with the vehicle?
Oh, did we not take that back?
No, it's by the library at the moment.
We left it at the library.
Well, I didn't know if you would leave it at the library.
We wouldn't have left it there. We would have driven it off to wherever we're going.
But this is what I mean. I assume you're pulling up.
Are we hiding it because it's quite obvious?
Are you planning to leave it on the street? Are you planning to try and pull it around the back? There is an area like alley around the back.
I thought we had to take it back though.
Yeah, that's up to Dante at the minute.
I didn't think they'd given it to us.
No, they haven't given it to us. But Dante will probably pull it around the back, keep it, put it in the garage, lock it up.
There isn't a garage, but there is an alleyway.
Well, there is now.
Yeah, no, that's not as well.
It's my world too.
Yeah, Dante is fully hallucinating a garage. It beeps and everything. And then Volu comes over and it's just a sheet.
A bit of canvas over the top.
Yeah,
I mean,
you can fully attempt to hide it and cover it from.
To be honest, we're in their storehouse. If anyone was to have a look at this car, it leads back. It's literally the Glass family car or Glass business car at one of their warehouses.
It's probably not there overnight though normally. And it's not a warehouse; it's a house that they happen to be storing things in.
Okay, well, fair enough. I mean, if it still goes around the back, we can still put the cover over it.
Happy to help try and hide it if you want to do more.
You can easily just tarp it up. If you want to go further, I would require rolls, but a tarp over just it stops it. But yeah, if
so is that advantage?
Dante, if you want to, you and Eleni.
I'm happy to help you if you want to roll.
I can help too.
You're going to give me guidance, though. So I've got advantage with guidance. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
Okay, and as you start sort of rummaging around the backyard and sort of moving some things.
As we're doing this, I would say
19.
Do we need to go back and look at that house again? You know where we found that wardrobe and there was stuff, the threads. We went and looked at it before we did the race. Is that something we want to do, or are we just planning to get out of here?
You maybe remind me what we're talking about.
It was what I remember. I had the thread that caused me to be infected, and we traced the other threads and we found it at this house, and that stupid cat wouldn't let me in.
I think I missed all that part. I wasn't here for that.
Were you not here for that?
No,
Sorry.
you were because it was before the race. We did it literally
It
just
was-
before the.
It was
The
literally
cat
before we
wouldn't
had
let
to
you
go.
in.
Yeah, we went to this house and it was empty, or we thought it was empty, and didn't
I
want.
tried climbing up
Tried
to
to
the
climb up
window
through the
and then
window.
Possibly the timing to split off from each other, maybe. Or is it like in
No, but
pairs?
out of game, Chris was here.
Yeah. Chris was playing, but I think it could have been a time that Dante and Eechie split off from Elenian. But I'll check. We'll see it on the
No,
foot. We'll see it back.
we were all there.
No, we were all together.
Chris just
Let-
said
let-
that.
It was,
yeah,
it was,
let's just face it. Like I don't remember anything, so
Yeah.
we just kind of go with.
Chris
No,
just
Well, that's
wasn't
it. That's
paying
it.
attention again.
That was literally it. There was There was thread in the wardrobe. Well, the thread led to a wardrobe.
I
I
think-
tried getting in the
I
house,
think
but the
there were-
window was locked, and I was trying. Then the cat. I tried persuading the cat to let me in,
I think
and
there were
it just gave me a
multiple
silent and ran
locations,
off.
weren't there? Wasn't there multiple
was two-
locations, but we
two.
chose that one because it was sort of on the way and we didn't want to be late for the race.
Mhm. There was one closer to the race, but on the other side of it.
I'll
Mm.
say sort of this conversation is going on as you're coming in. You would come in to see Ichi. Ichi, obviously, you came back earlier in the day to gather some notes. What do they come upon as? I imagine there's some moving around. Originally, you just made bedroom space. So there's a room upstairs, obviously, that's sort of cleared for seating. But yeah, so you would hear them coming in through the door because they're talking back and forth.
Ichi doesn't like rush them. It's just kind of like is on the floor in like the center of kind of like what Ichi's kind of makeshift into like a living space, but like research kind of room of just then their notebooks open. There's a few pages around and just notes kind of scribbled on everything. Kind of sees them kind of come in and it's like, oh, how did everything go for everyone?
We found some interesting stuff. I mean, Volo, you found a fair bit, didn't you?
Yeah, I'd like to kind of maybe try and find some other stuff, but the stuff about the fire and the elemental plane, it's something we could look at if this continues to spread, because it could follow us wherever we go.
Okay, that's very handy. Dante?
I was just literally about to ask. We did mention, obviously, Beachy wasn't here, but we did say to Ichi, didn't we? Like as we passed.
You said
We had-
briefly that yes, that there was a potential solution, but I think if I remember,
Okay.
you didn't want to go in depth with it.
Didn't we
Well,
have the Mastiff with us?
Yeah, each
Yeah.
sent the mastiff with them.
If that doesn't
Yeah,
doesn't
it
do
was
information.
more just so that they could, if you got into trouble, you could send the dog to.
Right. I wasn't quite sure how it worked.
I think at most it might be emotion.
It's a mile, I think. No, it's full telepathic, but
Oh, is it?
it's distance limited. So
While my speed is within 1 mile of me, I can communicate with it telepathically.
So this is it. If you were further than that, you would have to like say to it to run back. It would run into the mile and then be able to call him.
Okay, then Dante just looks and goes,
I think we've got. Oh, there's a chance that Demetrius will be able to rip out Tenebris from me and put him in the sword.
In the sword?
Yes.
Okay. That's good.
It does mean that because of the time scales, he has said it will be a bit more of a basic enchantment on the sword, so we have to guard the sword at all costs.
Of course. I've also got some backup things, also things that we can use to enhance that. Obviously, objects in which can be used to bind them helps kind of obviously lessen the tension of the original binding. Also, we can use aspects of the creature itself. So perhaps if we collect some of the ash that you give off when you're in your hybrid form, it might be able to be used as a component because it's an aspect of Tenebris that is leaking from you.
That is a good idea.
Oh, and there's also just, taking you to a leaking portal, but I'm not quite sure where one of those is currently. Did he have a time frame?
He needs a couple of days to order the parts, and then we're gonna go pick them up.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure because he wanted a few days, but I think you forced a day, like basically
2
2
days.
days, but the night of the second day rather than it being the morning after the 2 days.
So not tomorrow, the day after.
Yes.
One of the things I do want to counsel about, Demetrius is not the person that I had assumed he was. I think I assumed he was some kind of minion of Madame Oracle's, but he's obviously not. His house was quite strange. It had a lot of, I don't know, pictures that seemed to move, things that were odd. And on our way out, there were 2 really odd visitors. One in particular was scary. Do you remember when we met and you did something, Ichi, that frightened Volu and Dante? It was like that. It was all of a sudden I was terrified of this person and I had to get away from them. But yeah, I suspect he has his own standing. I don't know that those. It's not that I don't trust him, but I think there's more to it.
I didn't feel fear.
You had gone. you
I
raced
assumed you were
off.
talking. I assumed you were talking about the 2 figures
Yeah, but I think you just
that
went
passed
past
us.
them and got in the car, didn't you?
He stared at me.
Okay.
I don't like people staring.
Was it an odd stare or was it the usual he looks grumpy kind of scare?
I don't know. He just stared at me.
My moths freaked out big time.
This is my insight being absolute shite. So because that was
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Just we fixed looks, and then we didn't.
Yeah.
Like,
But his skin looked black. I mean, he was pretty much cloaked head to foot, but did you see it, Volu? There was something weird.
Yeah, on his neck was it was almost like black and ash coloured, going up towards his face, and then at that point I had the feeling I had, and yeah, I couldn't even look at him, and I just needed to get away from that point. And I had those creepy figures tell me off as well. So.
Are you sure you didn't do something?
No.
I think he went to touch a knob.
No. And a wry smile put.
The tower itself, where Demetrius is held up, has lots of enchantments involved, probably potentially other soul binding already. If we were made a sudden move, sometimes they would react before composing again. It was a fun place.
So with that said, I mean, he is going to get in touch. Hopefully he has the skills we hope he has. But I don't think we should completely let down our guard.
It is good to have other roads to walk if this doesn't work.
I'm concerned that I don't know what this ritual is and that there might be a point where perhaps Tenebris isn't in you anymore, but you may be vulnerable, or I suggest
did
we
men-
need to be there to guard while this is happening.
Yes, he did mention there is the chant of death in this ritual. He did mention it was also potentially for himself as well. Though I get the feeling it's probably more than my share.
And I'm sure he would. He's not the kind who's going to sacrifice himself if he could, you know.
No.
He has nothing to gain from dying.
But, however, he is a coward. And I did threaten him on the way out.
Which is all very well and good when you have all your powers, but when you're stuck in a magic circle of some kind with...
I may be trapped, but this is where you guys... The priority will be the sword.
Yes.
Doesn't matter what will happen to me, we do not let Tenebris go get out.
This is what I'm worried about, because when you first propositioned him, he asked if he could keep Tenebris.
Well, don't let that happen. This is my only ask of you guys. If whatever could happen to me, we do not want to let that monster out.
You'd all be able to sort of begin settling in for the evening. Is the plan to sort of, obviously there's a while until you need to rest. I'd say you'd probably be able to get maybe 2 or 3 hours of downtime if anybody is doing anything, or just put it towards research if you want to sort of go over things and sort of share things that you've been looking into.
I'd go into a bit more detail about what I learned, and like the fact that the Brass City is kind of a whole civilization, and got a trading hub, and that what we may have saw when the flame sprite appeared to Tenebris is that the flame sprite and the Tenebris appear to be working for the same master.
Right.
What has that got to do with anything further?
It's...
But anything we do to Tenebris, someone will know about.
If his master can track him and knows where he is, even though...
In my time, the lucid feelings of conscious time, consciousness even, over the centuries, I don't have much recollection. I would have thought if he has a boss of some kind, or he's working for someone, I would have thought at some point they would have been in contact. But that is just a guess.
But would you even know? Like,
I do not know.
Do you want to, Dante, give me a flat history check to see? So it's basically, it would be advantage for all the things bonuses you get, but it's disadvantage because you're trying to call on memories from a time when you were like deep sleep.
Let me. I have to focus hard to try to think of this.
Yeah, I'll put my hand on his shoulder at the same time.
I like it. I'll give it. Go on.
Oh, natural 20
Nice.
I take my hand off.
with a 4.
Yeah.
and that's with a +6, so 30.
Nice.
Wow.
Okay. So almost you don't know, and you don't know whether it's the use of his powers or the leaking through of Tenebris, but you have been getting more clearer images. As you sort of sit and focus for a minute, you find yourself sort of flicking through memories and thinking about times. And while no, there was definitely never any time that you like went to a master, there were lots of times you spoke to the fire. And actually, as you're thinking, you would give locations, but also you gather that often it wasn't like details. So it's like I found it, or no, it doesn't seem to be here. I'm gonna move on. It was never like details and those sorts of things that you can pick out, but it was always moving on to the next thing, moving on to the next thing. But he often spoke to the fire.
So
And you never heard response. You don't like it's because like you in this state doesn't even understand the connection or whatever, the magical connection.
So in Dante's doing this, he's paused and he's really trying to think, and it's almost kind of going into a trance almost, what he's trying to imagine, like trying to recall something that he's not sure if he actually knows or if it's a memory of his or Tenebris's. He starts to kind of like react and almost wince in pain and just goes, he spoke with fire. He used to talk, say things to it. I can't think further. He would name places or say he's done a thing or something along those lines, but I can't remember any further than that. So it's possible maybe he was reporting. But I never heard any responses. I don't know why. Maybe I wasn't able.
And you definitely never met any other Afriti. Like, you know that for certain.
And I definitely never met any Afritis.
Did you?
Can feel that's for certain.
But do you remember, did he sound like he was reporting back because he'd been given orders, or whether it was more casual and he was just sharing information?
It's hard to remember. It is so jumbled. Going back to a time like that, I don't know. I don't know if I'm remembering his thoughts or if I'm just pushing through. It's like trying to look at a mirror in a puddle that's being splashed. By that I mean reflection, not a mirror.
I fully just got the image of you putting the mirror in the puddle, splashing the puddle. That would be hard to look in the mirror.
I had the mirror being liquid with the ripples on the, but yeah, okay.
Well, that was how I wanted it to be thought.
See, I had a mirror on the wall, and you'd accidentally spilt something on it, and then
I just had Chris fumbling over his words. Love you, Chris.
You guys are dicks. It's hard to recall. They're just flashing of images and ripples in the air. But I just know that sometimes he would say, I haven't found it here.
There is something that we need to bear in mind, which is if we do bind him to the sword and he has less ability to take over you and to send out communication, there is a high chance that whatever person he was reporting to will send people to come look for him, because whatever being he reports to will not like some of his property being taken away.
Maybe.
So as much as we won't have to deal with him in the immediate interim, we may have to deal with other things from the City of Brass coming to collect.
Maybe we should
find a way to mask the sword's presence. Oh,
Where's he gone? Where's he gone?
Sorry, no, I've just heard lots of banging and I wasn't sure what that was
Hmm.
for. Hang on 2 seconds. Oh, sorry.
We good?
For the moment.
Yeah.
No one's trying to break your door down then.
I kind of is what it sounded like at first. That was why I kind of, and then it sounded like it was coming from around the side of my house, which is where my car is. So that was why I
Sure.
kind of checked that, but nothing's there.
You're a fruity master.
Knocking on my door.
Gonna bind my
He's taking the
balls.
role play to like the next level. He's sent a guy to actually come and possess you.
So send a guy to break your kneecaps, because that's what the mafia boss would do. But yeah, sorry. So yeah, Ichi, you were saying.
Yes. So it's you say about like disguising the sword. That might be something we can do. I'm not sure how fully yet. Without harboring your abilities. That's another thing.
I am not concerned with my abilities.
Okay. Well, then we could always just contain the sword and put the sword in a lead box and hand that to the watchers.
I would rather maintain it myself, if that is all the same to you.
Yes and no. Like, for me, yes, by all means, I would rather it be in your possession because you're the one who's lived with it and who understands it. But at the same time, are you going to bear this burden for the rest of your life of just watching over it? Don't you want to get away from it?
Maybe
I'm more thinking of you there.
Maybe.
There is a question, Dante, about you have been almost immortal, yes, while Tenebris has been inside you. You don't know what's going to happen when he's free, or at least trapped in the sword. And so you do probably need to make some plans for if you should not be here, if something happens to you early, or if actually you just now start to age the way you should have done. You need to have a plan for where that sword should be and what should happen to it.
You are right. I don't know.
Is this something that your order could help with, Ichi? Do they contain artifacts that are dangerous from other planes?
My section didn't necessarily. We had a few artifacts from other planes, but nothing that I knew that was like this. Perhaps in the larger orders, yes, they have some safes. I'm not fully sure. It's something that we could speak to Serata about. After all, he's coming tomorrow, and we're not doing this for another few days. So
2 days.
We're doing this in 2 days. Yeah. So he's coming tomorrow. We're not doing this for another day after that.
And he may be able to do something else, maybe.
Exactly. Even if he's just there to help stand watch as this ritual's going on.
That is true. I would ask, just if, for what Eleni has said, I do not have kin. I do not have anybody left who of my bloodline or who knows me. So, in terms of the sword, I trust it to you, Ichi, for as you know what is best for this power.
Okay.
I trust that in your judgment.
It's all fine and dandy saying that, but you're not going anywhere.
I don't plan to.
Good.
I'm far
Just
too
for a
proud.
second there, I thought you were gonna have the whole thing happen and just run.
Here you go.
Fuck! All this power.
And then suddenly, hi guys.
No, no, Floric.
Oh,
Oh.
loses all the gristle.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what Dante might become should the
Burden be lifted.
ritual go well.
Which is obviously going to go well, Liam. I don't know why you keep saying should. We all know it's fine.
Foreshadowing.
But it's all going to be
No,
fine.
no, it's gonna be fine.
If you send out positive things, I've just realised I haven't been recording anything for them. But
That's okay. You're manifesting.
yeah, exactly. You send out positivity out to the universe, it will come back to you and fold. So that's why everything's going to be fine. Liam clearly has no plan. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah, actually,
It's all gonna be
I
fine.
actually never know what I'm doing. To be fair, so that is
See,
a
that's all
valid
good.
statement.
Step one, pick the plan. Step 2, forget the plan.
Yeah, no, it's just write the plan down. Step 2, throw the plan out the window. But yes, obvious. I will also say you would be able to tell them about. I did have.
What else did I have?
Yeah, my brain's gone.
I'm trying to read my handwriting. That's a problem.
I would also, I mean, just Ichi has been at the house, hasn't he? While we were out and about.
I was at the library at one point.
Yeah,
I remember that, and then yeah, just been at the house.
So I would actually say to Ichi, did anybody come by? Have you? Obviously, we think Madam Oracle had tracked us to here potentially. You didn't hear anything or see anything today?
Not that I'm aware of. I was kind of quite introspective and focused on what I was doing rather than people wandering around the house about the house. Sadly, but there was nothing clear enough for me to notice. But obviously, with it being people from Madame Oracle and such, I wouldn't expect it to be.
And nobody else that, like the people that were looking for me?
No. Ichi is going to wave their hand over their eyes and cast see invisibility, and I'm just going to have a quick, like, as Eleni says that, I'm going to do a full walk around every room of this, like, warehouse we are in.
Yeah. I follow you. For some reason, my brain was just like, it's a werewolf, but a house.
Could you imagine? On the full moon, this man just becomes a house.
No, it's the house becomes a werewolf.
Oh, shit. Isn't that just Monster House at this point? Ain't that?
You're just already inside it. Sorry.
And then you have the warehouse become a warehouse, and it's a warehouse.
I'm just liking how I've just come in with no context over what you guys are talking about.
The house you're in has become a werewolf.
I figured that much based on what you just said.
But no, so you take a full scan of the house, and there is no sign of any invisible orbs, invisible people, invisible traps, or any sort of signs that. If you want to have a normal look as well, do you want to roll me investigations? Anybody can assist or roll their own.
What are we investigating? Because I'm happy to do
basically just have a look around the house, make sure nothing's been disturbed, nothing's been moved, that wasn't you guys, etc.
16. I'm a grandma.
21.
Hey, oh, well, okay, with that, I'm not going to ask for guidance. Actually, yes, guidance.
I'd already rolled, sorry.
Oh, I didn't know that.
6.
So, from my 30,
Yeah.
a natural one. See, this is what happens when I don't get given guidance.
If he's not blessed by Astera, all goes to shit. Eleni, what did you get?
21.
Okay, and Ichi?
16.
Okay, so standing around, everything looks undisturbed, no signs of any invisible things, and nothing other than the stuff you have moved seems out of place. And any in this, I would also allow you to set up any alarms or any other things that you want to set up.
Yeah, I would be. Is there a back door to this place? It's just a front
There's a
door.
back, yeah, well, front and back door. Though the back door is like shuttered and boarded, it's like it's not for use. But there is an entrance there.
How likely does it look like somebody would get through that back door without us hearing?
Very unlikely. They would have to use magic to get through the door with the same that would get them past the alarm spell. Do you know what I mean? Like it's that level of they would have to pry the boards off the outside.
I'm just checking, Liam. Have we had a long rest since the last time we did anything major? Oh no,
I don't
actually, it
think-
might just be
no.
my disguising myself, but I don't know if that.
Disguising, and also you pinged a sense for creatures.
I did, so that's probably why.
No,
That's fine.
not since those have been spent.
So in which case, I would put one proper alarm across the front door. And I would probably try and set other more mundane sort of traps, maybe something that will jingle if a door opens, or, tripwires and that kind of thing around the house as well.
Okay, yeah, so if you want to give me a sleight of hand to sort of go around setting up a few things that are precariously placed and
7.
Okay, so you set up a few things that you set up what you can, and you guys would be able to move through to. I imagine that you're almost like living in the upstairsy bit where passers on the street can't just look into windows and such. And yeah, again, unless you want, we can rest and skip forwards, or you can. There's probably maybe another 2 hours. You can knock off any of the if you guys are doing any downtime stuff.
No, I don't think I would. I think I would probably just go and sit and think for a bit. Just get some.
Follow's pretty sleepy.
Yeah.
Dante takes a pen and finds some bits of paper and just starts scribbling things.
Okay. And Eechie?
Nothing in particular. Just wind down for bed, really. Nothing extravagant.
Okay. And what is the sleeping arrangement? Because there isn't like functional beds. Are you all just doing?
I was imagining bedrolls because you said this
That's
place
it,
didn't really have furniture in it. It's just like boxes
Doesn't
and
have
stuff, isn't
furniture.
it?
How are you tying? What are you tying yourself to? Obviously.
The manacles.
Whatever you guys fancy.
I mean, we could hog tie it.
Wonder if there's a radio.
If there's a storage house, there might be like a hook or a railing somewhere.
Oh, great! Probably kind of like.
I was gonna say we can all
Those are nice
manacle and then
types.
just like through the rafters and kind of like have suspended.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that does great work for your shoulders.
I mean, I was thinking like one wrist to one ankle, and
Oh no, yeah, full hog tie, so that
Yeah.
he's just hanging like a pinata.
just kind of throw out there because I mean Dante would just do whatever. It really doesn't bother him. But this group is definitely not a good group.
Maybe it's just that you bring this out in us, Chris.
You're not the only person to say that to me.
To be fair, I think Ichi, as you don't
Guys, hang
really. Are you okay? Go check your stuff.
No, it's not me.
Is this house turning into a warehouse?
Maybe it's haunted.
No, it's not. Well, I heard lots of slamming of doors and that, and then I just started hearing screaming.
Oh.
So I kind of thought, oh, I'd better have a look at that. But no, it's kids screaming, but joyously.
As per usual, are they dying or are they having fun?
Yes, yeah.
So,
Of course,
that was
it's only it's only weeks away from Halloween, so anything could be going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm in London.
Ooh.
But yes, so I'd say that Dante, you would know that with the chains, like feet and hands could be done separately, and you would hear him. It would still be difficult for him to move around.
This is it's going to be less like him getting up and moving about without us noticing is not the worry. It's more using of swords and such. So it's going to be manacled to like waistline, but like arms crossed, so that right arm is on left hip, left arm is on right hip, and then swords are removed, placed in a separate room. Yeah.
That's the way you like it, mate.
Yeah.
I'm down for it.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Allows you to
Okay,
actually sleep comfortably as well.
Yeah. So you are able to try check off a long rest.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Waking the next morning after sleeping pretty well. It's you've not been on the road for a while, but being people who are used to the road, this is still nicer than just straight out in the outdoors. But you get a good enough rest and awake the next morning, and with a plan to be made. Obviously, there's no food and service here. You might have to head out and get those sorts of things. But what is the group's plan for the day?
Well, I mean, we do need to go and buy food and stuff, but also I was going to have a look perhaps for some better armor than what I'm wearing. And I'm trying to remember, Liam, what we said now. I think we said studded leather, or maybe even, I don't know. Is it breastplate? What's the one that doesn't give me a massive disadvantage on the
Breastplate's fine.
Breastplate's fine. It's whether if your dex is much higher than a +2.
Yeah.
Because that's what it maxes out as the bonus to.
It's +3 my dex at the moment, but I'm
So
currently
+2's fine.
I'm currently on a 14 AC. So I want to try
breastplate
and
would at least
boost
bring
that a
you to
bit.
16 because it's 14 plus 2.
Yeah.
Well, plus a maximum of 2.
So I'm happy to go out and do some foraging because, you know, Volu will need feeding at fairly regular intervals. And I think it'd be good to have some food at the storehouse, right? Even if we eat out as well.
I need to pick up some resources in prep for Dante.
Okay. So a little bit maybe Volu and Eleni heading down.
Mind the one, I'm specifically looking for diamonds.
I did also want to pop in and see Arcanair. I feel like I don't want to just disappear. I need to at least tell her that we will be leaving in a couple of days. And I think we've mentioned that already, that we weren't going to hang around, but I don't want to just disappear and not at least say goodbye. So.
Yeah, makes sense. Eechie and Dante, are you gonna tag along and go with for the now, or have you got other plans?
I'd imagine for now. I don't know when we're meeting up with Sir Arthur.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd forgotten about him.
Yeah, we're meeting him today.
So I'm going to be following Ichi's guidance, as it were.
Arthur didn't give me a location in which he is. He just said that he was on the outskirts and was returning to the city today, didn't he?
I thought you meant the Bloody Banner.
He would be staying.
Bloody Banner, that's
stay
it.
At the Bloody Banner.
And that's where we were staying.
Yes, it's where we were before.
Originally,
where you guys were.
That is the most common, it's the most used of visitors and passengers and such.
Before everyone left this morning, Ichi probably would have grabbed everyone and said, would we prefer for us to meet Sir Arthur at the Bloody Banner, or do we want to meet here? Or
I don't want him coming here. I know that he's probably really trustworthy, Ichi, but I don't really want anybody that I've not known before.
Oh no, this is why I'm asking. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I've only met this individual once, and as much as I trust my order, That's my order's business. That's not anything to do with any of you. So do not worry. I will not bring him here without permission.
I think
Do we
just
want to-
between everybody that I don't, there's a few people and factions in this place that I don't want to know we're here, including
No, of
these
course.
people who might be looking for me. Sorry, Valen.
Yeah. No, I was also going to say, do we even want to meet him at the bloody banner? Because we know we're being
We're
That's-
sort of
being
known there.
tracked.
That's why I'm posing this question. Is there anywhere in particular that we would like to meet him? Anywhere that we feel more secure?
Is the Rusty Bucket safer? Or we could even choose in the open in one of the gardens, where in public.
I mean, that depends on. Again, I trust that Sir Arthur isn't going to stab us in the back. It's just really depends on where locations that you feel safe talking to someone.
How about we go to a place where there's less likely for people to overhear or meet or have any issues?
Sure.
For example, where we fought in the race.
In the cave.
As good a place as any.
Yes, there might be a few guards there because of recent activity, but
it's just an idea. Alternatively, it's either go to a place where nobody is, or hide in plain sight where everybody is.
no, of course. If anything, the caves might not be a bad idea because at least then we can direct his attention towards the things that we saw down there.
Yes, that's not a bad idea.
The guards already know things are going on, so
he might have a view on the golem and the Zorn.
exactly. Okay, I will. Dante and I can head to the Bloody Banner now and leave a note for him to meet us. Should we say in the evening?
Sure.
Yeah, why not?
Wonderful. I'll leave a note saying 6 p.m. in the caves.
Wonderful. Thank you, Eechie.
Okay.
Sounds good.
So yeah, we will head as
I've,
they head.
I've realised what I've done by saying this. I've literally just set up a giant fight.
Yeah.
Like,
If you hadn't, you have now.
I was like, why would we go and meet
No.
some bloke in a cave where there's nobody to see us, and even if he's on our side, we could get ambushed.
that was why I said either go for surrounded by everybody.
I suggested in the
Surrounded by no one.
park, right? No, it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
no?
Okay.
The cave does make kind of sense because of recent activity that we have had. Also, there is aspects of if there are guards there and he starts attacking us, hopefully we have backup.
If there are guards there, yeah,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
it's fine.
if there are, and if not, we still outnumber him in a way, and it's also a location we are familiar with that he is not.
It's fine.
I thought
Eleni's
that's where
very
you met him.
No.
I think we should use our ask to borrow the car again. Not the normal car, our race car.
We probably need to take this one back then.
Oh, shame. Okay.
I was going to say, Eleni is fully aware that she's being paranoid, so her agreement to meet him in the thing is just her going, don't be so stupid. Like, you can't be paranoid all the time. Surely nothing will happen to us in a big dark cavern. We'll be fine.
Yeah.
There's that saying, just because you're paranoid doesn't mean people aren't after you.
Mm-hmm.
So like,
just because you're paranoid doesn't mean you're wrong.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, sure. Are we? If Dante,
Dante's going to get in the car and
I was
take.
going to say, if Dante and Ichi take the car back to collect the other vehicle, then head down and drop off the note for.
Thereafter.
I'm thinking that's the fastest way across the city because you're going to have to go up to the top to the Zenith Ward, and then you're going to have to come straight back down to the Crucible.
Mm-hmm.
And Eleni and Volu head to get some food and into the market.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay, so you would probably know where are you lot gonna meet? I think or are you just gonna message when done, or back here? I don't know if that what's your plan for after.
So we're going to go to the market. I would probably want to take stuff back to the house so we're not carrying it around all day. And then, like I said, in the afternoon, I might head up to the temple. So that's my thinking at the moment.
Okay. Okay. So you get Dante and Ichi jump on their vehicles and begin making their way up to the Zenith Ward. It's not too early morning. It's about mid morning. The sun's sort of hitting the city nicely.
As if we're leaving, Dante's going to take special care of trying to leave, like, especially the direct building, but like even in the area, just to try to avoid anybody.
Yep, give me a stealth. It's moderately busy, as you can tell that a lot of the city is sort of returning back to normal function. The festivals are over and the announcements are all done. People, there's going to be obviously a few days of people hanging around to sell what they can. People are getting ready. You hear the people passing by talking about, we need to get this for the journey back, and make sure the horses are ready and all those sorts of things. What did you get in your stealth, Dante?
23.
Easily taking back streets and side alleys, you manage to weave your way through. I'm going to pause on you there as Eleni and Volu. You fairly easily can make your way down into the market. You need to make your way all the way through the Forge Ward, and it's up to you. You could actually, if you go down and across, you could come across basically the side street that the Rusty Bucket is on. Is, if you imagine you're here or there, like down here.
Are there places to
isn't
buy
the-
armor along here, Liam, rather than going to the market to get?
You could potentially search out some directs from the smiths in the area. There are some larger looking ones that look more like stores, but it's been hot because you're super looked. You can't tell if they're like to order or stock.
So what I'm going to do, I think, on the way there is I'm just going to keep my eyes open for anywhere that looks like a store. And then sort of go, oh, I'll go there later. And as we're walking through the forge, because I think you said originally there is quite a lot of manufacturing, isn't there, in this area?
Yeah, because the actual market is a lot of the actual, it's stuff that common people would come and it's everyday stuff. It's not always, obviously, because you've arrived during a festival. There is stuff for armors and fancy things, but once it sort of begins to return to normal, it will just be more produce and cloth and silk and those other sort of things that you would need for everyday life. But yes, make me. I don't even. You wouldn't need a perception. Sorry, go on, Bolin.
Would we be passing the house with the thread? I think we would.
That
wouldn't we?
is
I thought that
not
was in the.
That
I thought that was in.
Forge.
Can you put the other map on?
I thought that was down in the crucible, the side crucible piece.
So what are we looking for? Sorry.
So you guys are currently up in the sort of north lower.
We were over near the
Forge
Vicar
Ward.
stuff, weren't we?
And then obviously the Rusty Bucket's down here.
And it was round here, wasn't it? Well, where's my ping?
You have to hold to ping. Oh yeah, you can do that.
Yeah, it was around here, wasn't it?
The wardrobe one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could go and take a little look by
Yeah, we could go do that.
Okay, so I'd say Eleni, on the side streets, not so much, but as you get a little bit further from the Zikar processing plant, you can tell that like where you guys are, it is a lot of the houses and buildings are dedicated to the very large processing plant and mines nearby. But as you get a little bit further away, you would spot on one of the corners of a main street a fairly large smithy that does seem to have it's all open, but it's almost separated into like the counter area that's over on one side. You can see it's all still made of metal and definitely would be fire resistant if not proofed. And then the other sort of backside is sort of lit by a glowing red hot forge that you would be able to note. and it the name on the front is the Black Anvil.
The Black Anvil. Okay. Yeah, I would sort of mentally note that, and just sort of trying to remember where we are, and look for a landmark maybe. Remember how to get back here later.
Okay. And making your way back. Are you gonna do it just from memory, or are you gonna try and?
I'll try and do it. No, I'm gonna try and do it just from
get
memory.
back. Okay, so drop me a survival to see if you can get back to. No, not for you. Sorry, Mum. You can easily remember where this corner is. I'm thinking about getting back to the house that you sort of visited once while following a spell.
So survival.
A survival if possible.
Can I aid him?
He hasn't told me what it is yet, so yeah. You can roll again, or you can roll your own, Eleni, if you want.
I can do that as well if you want. See if I can remember. 10. So no.
That was better than what I got.
Oh wow.
I've got +6 survival.
I've got +7.
And I got 8.
Oh wow.
So I'd say that you guys you get into the rough area, but you get to the point where like all that again, and this city is hard enough because all the houses are fairly uniform. They're all the same color of grey stone morphed out of the ground, and you know it's in like this rough area, but you can't quite remember which one exactly.
I've still got locate object prepped. I didn't even use locate object. What did I use?
I think it was locate object, was it not?
Oh, I think it was. Yeah.
Can't have been.
No.
It was something like that because we had pings where we were we followed.
But they say if it was locate object, it would only find the closest one.
I'm sure there were multiple pings of it though.
Did somebody detect fiends or something like that because it was fiendish energy?
I mean, that wouldn't have been mine. That might have been Eechie's because mine just goes, yeah, there's some stuff within a mile, doesn't it? It doesn't tell you the location.
You know, in this distance, locate object would work regardless.
Yeah, I didn't have it prepped, so that's because I was thinking about other stuff.
Would he have known that we were going to do this? I suppose. No.
Probably not.
Maybe you do get to change your spells every morning, so
yeah, I know, but I've changed them already.
No worries.
So yeah,
that's a shame.
And we wouldn't have known when I was changing them. I forgot them.
So we'll just wander around for a bit, scratching our heads and being like, "Was it down that street?"
Yeah, it's too much of it looks the same. Like Volu, you even like climb up and peek through some windows. You don't see like.
Can I look around for cats? See if I can remember the cat.
Give me a perception. See if you can spot a cat that might live in there. Right?
Roll for cats.
Roll for cats.
Roll for cats.
Just gonna throw out there. If that isn't a quote, this isn't an hour and 11 minutes on my thing.
Roll for cats.
12.
You see a cat.
So you don't actually spot any, and actually you sort of look in a few windows, and it's like they don't have any. There's no cat balls. I don't see anything there. And like look in the next one, and yeah, you're just not really seeing much. And after maybe about 5 minutes, a dwarven, fairly like 300-year-old dwarf, like quick in the back, sort of walks out like, "Can I help you? She's looking for somebody."
Mr. Bigglesworth.
Yeah. I spoke to somebody who was helping me with some weaving questions. Do you know any weavers around here?
Give me a persuasion, because this guy does not want to talk to you.
9.
I'm doing so well.
He literally just goes, tourists, stay off the grass, and goes, turns back around. And so, like, you see they move up to the porch and they sort of sit on the chair on the porch, and then they just take the tea and they're just watching you. Just like,
Remember the wardrobe was red, but I can't remember what the outside looked like.
I thought there
It
was
was
like a
dark.
courtyard. I thought we sort of went almost into a courtyard, and then there was the door, and then we sort of climbed up the side of the door almost to where the window was above.
That sounds does sound familiar. I was too pumped up about the death race. I can't remember.
you take a look around, and there's only one of them with a courtyard.
Yeah, so I'll go over and is anything vaguely looking familiar? Am I getting any senses or anything from it?
As you get a little closer, it's hard to tell. And then you sort of, again, like, you take a little peek through the window, and you just get a glimpse of, like, a cattail leaving a room. And then you hear from the, like, there's no weavers over there. That's a house. It's where somebody lives. He sort of, like, stood at the edge of the porch.
Sorry.
I'll just look at him and then go. Someone can live in the house. Thank you, though. And then knock on the door.
Okay, so
It's just the accent you just dropped for that. It's just like there's no one living over there.
It's proper yokel.
Yeah.
and he does. He just
imagine that. Just be like, are you local?
just takes a big sip of his teacup and just continues to stare. There's a bit of a pause before a middle-aged human woman comes to the door. You can see the sort of different bits and bobs of like cleaning, and it looks like as you sort of look past, you can see there's a few different people in the house. It looks like they're clearing up maybe a party or something happened. Like there's definitely like there's 17 glasses in the room to the left of the door. Like that sort of. It doesn't look like anybody's still here, but the cleanup crew is definitely like. Someone opens the door and goes, yes.
Hi. I, I was speaking to somebody earlier, and then are they in or are you leaving?
No, the owners of the house are not. Well, they should be back later. Did you leave something at the party?
Liam, does this house even look familiar? I mean, are we now just
Yeah, I
wandering
mean,
up to
no,
houses that have
it is the
castles?
only courtyarded building in this block of houses. So the rest are sort of grass garden, so you know what I mean. So it's you
But-
sort of like.
But
But
Eleni feels like this could be the house.
it could be. It's got the same sort of thing above the door that you would need to climb up,
Okay.
and obviously you didn't do much looking inside the house.
No, but this
But
is what I'm thinking. I'm just imagining, in theory, I'm a ranger, so in theory,
it
I
looks fairly
find my
similar.
way around places, right? In theory.
Yeah,
So I'm
but
like, yeah.
I'm doing all my conniving and getting the house. Go, oh, no, wrong house.
but I would say that like
But yeah.
Yeah.
Did you leave something at the party? You can give us a description and we will keep an eye out for it.
I think I have it. I don't want to disclose it too much because it's quite personal. But I'm pretty sure that I left it in the bedroom.
Give me a deception, and I'll give you advantage.
Come on, come
Holy,
on.
you saucy little minx.
With advantage, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Deception 17.
What was the first one?
The first one would have been 6.
But yes, they look you over for a second, look at Eleni next to you, and almost like raise an eyebrow at you.
Eleni's just
Um,
like not even meeting eyes. She's just wow.
That we're not usually supposed to let people in. I could
Stop,
be.
stop right there. I know what you're saying, and then I'll pull out a gold piece and put it in his hand.
Oh look, they sort of like they take the gold and then just immediately like sleight of hand as if practiced over years of just that coin disappears into an inner pocket of their waistcoat faster than you can blink as they all of a sudden just pick up the brush that they were using to sweep up and are like, oh, this dirt's gonna take us forever, and just leave the door ajar and just start sweeping. And you would sort of hear them mutter like, oh, I'll have to come back here in about a minute. She sort of like sweeps through and they sort of like move on down the corridor towards what you can see as a kitchen. So as you can see this Volu, there are other people moving around this building, right? Like you can definitely hear like clinking glasses. Somebody's washing up, and like, oh, bring that stuff through this way. There's movement in here, but there's an
Okay.
opportunity.
I am little.
I'm not.
But
Yes.
Volu is occasionally.
What I'm going to do there, I'm going to turn around to you and go, you can turn invisible, and send you a.
I can turn invisible for 6 seconds.
I could get you in the room.
I think what I'm going to do actually is use disguise self and become the person we were just talking to.
Okay.
Volu will like, oh, better plan.
Because that'll last a whole hour.
And then once you're that, I would say, can you guide me up to the room?
Yeah. Okay. So, very nice from both of you. You begin to move in, and you would see that while it's not that grand in size, like it seems fairly bog standard in its replication, the decorations inside give the air of a more grand, older money vibe. There's the old paintings with long dead old guys wearing armor and other things on however, as you look over everything, it does also look like a frat house. And there is literally that room is covered in drinks. They're mopping up something from the floor. You manage to. So Volu, how are you going through? What's your plan? Sorry, are you just invising?
No, like because she disguised as one of them.
Oh, you're just playing it off. Okay,
Yeah,
so what I'm going
as
to
if
ask
I'm
for,
showing him where the room is.
I'm going to ask
Yeah.
then either for a persuasion or a performance more than a stealth, if that makes sense.
Ugh. Okay, I'm gonna go with performance because I'm pretending to be someone else.
That makes sense.
Did you say
I'll say
performance or persuasion?
So Eleni's, not that you needed it, but I was going to say advantage while you have because at a distance,
19.
people are going to assume, right?
So actually, so that would be a 20 actually, then dirty 20.
Okay. And for Volu, what are you going for? Persuasion. Yours is more to keep you cool and play it off like, yeah, I'm just being guided by this person and not. I'll even allow I'll allow a deception over a persuasion if that changes anything, but
yeah, that's good for me. Thank you.
did it not matter?
Well, it would have been a 4 if I did it as performance, but it was a 7.
Is it two?
Wow. I think you need to
Wow.
put those dice in like a dice
I've
dungeon or
changed.
something.
I've changed dice because I'm like, this is bad, and now I'm
Wow.
just
Oh man. Unfortunate as well, like not getting a nat 1 for the reroll.
Mm.
I would love a that one, but I've rolled 2 twice today as well.
But yes, okay, so you begin to move through. The person picking up glasses and mopping up something on the floor, they don't really look up as they're just like busy at work. As you move in, there's like the lobby section and stairs leading up. There's the doors left and right that go through to a dining room on the left and a sitting room on the right. And then you can see the door at the back that currently has the real cleaner person sweeping and sort of collecting up the stuff from the floor, which you can see there's like bits of confetti, glittering parts. They're like sweeping up all these old wooden floors with like bits of like maybe paint on the floor, and there's drippings of paint. Where would you like to head? Are you heading like direct line for the bedroom?
I think we're looking
Yeah.
for the bedroom in this wardrobe, aren't we? We're looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you head on up. As you're moving round, you would you sort of get to the top of the landing, and there's again, it's not a huge house, but there's maybe 4 or 5 doors off this way, and one of them's open. You can see it's a fairly decent looking bathroom with a standalone tub, and as you're sort of coming up, the person, because as if you imagine, Eleni appears first as the person leading. There is a young gnome sort of in the bath, sort of like scrubbing some sort of green paint off the side of it. And as you come up the stairs, she's like, "Hi, Johnny, come over and switch with me." And then as sort of Volu comes into view, they're like looking at Lenny in like a disapproving fashion, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you're not supposed to be fucking doing that, Johnny. If you get caught, we're all in fucking shit.
I'm going to just mumble and try and get it at the pitch that the guy spoke, and just sort of go, "Be quick," and like just almost like shrug.
Give me another performance.
I'm
Volu,
gonna like
Wait,
grip
wait.
Eleni and give her some guidance.
Okay, so I'm also gonna say, Volu, you're trying to keep you cool, but your eyes are like darting backwards and forwards. You're sweating, like, oh. I feel
didn't
like the
mean it.
guidance.
That's why I'm like,
I feel like the guidance give is also half guidance give and half holding of hands.
So it's 18 without guidance.
And I think as the this member is looking over you and quizzically giving you a glance before they nod and allow you to move on. And that is where we are going to end part 1.
oh.
Thank you very much for joining us. As always, thank you very much for playing and watching. If you're enjoying the adventure so far and want to see what happens next, hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell. And as always, roll well. Bye.
Brill.
I think that was about the right time.
Yeah, that was good. I think
We do like to split our party, don't we?
Yeah, you do.
Like I've never been part of a D&D game where we split the party every single time.
Every session.
Like
Well,
even when there's a fight, one of us drove off.
To be fair, we sent him off. But if you're shopping and
No, I know.
researching and stuff,
It does just make me laugh.
as long as
It's
there's
just
always someone with you, then we're all right.
Then we're all right.
Yeah, literally. Okay, brief pause,
Yeah,
get
no
drink, go toilet, etc. I do also very quickly need to look at a work thing.
Oh, Paul, what did you roll?
That's fine.
A 9.
I do want to try and finish at 10 if we can, Liam, at the latest.
Yeah.
I'm knackered and I've got to be up
Same.
tomorrow. So
And I'm actually quite ill, so I'd love to be able to just sleep.
you're ill.
Yeah, it's just a cold, but it has literally floored me for 2 days.
You know COVID's going around again. You done a test?
I haven't done a test, but I did wonder because last night I had a bitch of a fever.
Do
Like,
a
I
test
had-
because it is doing the rounds again. Definitely.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too shocked.
Wow.
So I need to get a hold of
See
a
you in a
test.
minute, Liam.
Bye.
Did a bit.
I was stupid and went out on a Tuesday.
Oh, well done. I've done 2 days in York. Yesterday, didn't leave the office till 5. Got to the train station and they decided that the train was running, but it was going to stop at Hebden Bridge.
Oh,
So I had to then ring Rob to come and get me from Hebden Bridge, which is about half an hour away. I'm just knackered. And then tomorrow I'm going into hospital in the morning for a biopsy, which
Oh,
I'm
okay.
sort of dreading. It's on my tongue. I'm really not looking forward to this.
You're going to be fine. You're going to be amazing. You're brilliant at everything, and you're the best person in the world. So you'll be absolutely fine.
Thank you, babe. I don't like dentisty kind of stuff anyway, and the thought of somebody actually cutting a chunk out of my tongue and putting a stitch
Yeah.
in it, just I could, anywhere else, no problem. I don't know, there's just something about the fact that it's my tongue. So I've booked the whole day off because my planner, they were like, yeah, you'll be in and out half an hour to an hour tops. You'll be able to drive afterwards. I'm like, I'm coming home and I'm going to sit in a corner and play some shitty video game or watch crap on telly for the whole day, like with my duvet. I am just going to sit and feel sorry for myself all day. That's my plan.
I think, say, we all know, say, that Beechie's probably very much giving you positive words, but as he's been muted the entire time he's been talking,
Oh,
there's
I didn't
been...
notice you were on mute, honey.
Hey, neither did I.
I've just been watching you go.
I didn't even see his mouth moving, or I would have
No.
stopped instead.
In my defense, the reason I muted myself is because my internet's been playing up, and I've been like swearing under my fucking because I like haven't been able to hear half of these conversations, and I'm sat here going,
Oh
"Please don't
no.
talk to me and Dante. Please don't be talking to me and Dante."
Well, we're going to come next, mate. So,
Yeah.
slight flip thing, Emma.
Yes.
At some point, I'm gonna have a. Have you still got your dice roller
Yes.
on your environment somewhere?
Yep. It's on the main environment, I think. It's in.
I'm gonna have a little nosy at that because I've been asked
You know
purely
that's
as
the very first app I built, don't you? It's ancient and probably really old-fashioned now.
well, then it's something fun if you want to join in with me for something. So like,
Yeah.
I've been asked just something purely. It's for work, but it's not for work. If you know what I mean. So when we score up points for how a piece of work is, we use like a
like
website.
poker. They're using like story point poker.
Pointy poker. Yeah. So and somebody went, can someone just make us an app that does effectively the pointy poker stuff? And I was just like, yeah. And then I went, hang on, we all log in as the same user, so no. And then they kind of went, well, we do have this other environment that we do use stuff for. I was like, well, then we're all our own users.
So really funny. I actually built my first app in months yesterday because a guy at work came up to me and said, we've got like an IT kind of day thing next week. So I'm actually going out in York in the evening and stopping over. So this is going to be really cool. But he said, oh, I want to do this whole thing. And his thing is APIs. And he was like, it's really boring. Everyone's going to fall asleep. So I thought we could play a game. And he's decided that they want to do like word bingo. So he said he's going to have like a Canvas app with buttons with words on. And then every time someone hears the word, they have to press the button. And then he wants it to like keep score in the background. So I started mapping it out with him, and I'm like, yeah, you could just use a SharePoint list. We can create you a developer environment because you can share from there and blah, blah, blah. And we're doing all this stuff. And then he went, oh, but I want to do it all on my own. I want to do it myself. So I went, okay, here's the link to like the formula reference, right? Here's the, and I came away and I thought, that sounds really simple, but I bet it's not. So on this train last night, I started building this little app that's just got 3 buttons on it. And it's basically, if you press the A button, it should add 1 to the A column in SharePoint. If you press the B button, it should add 1 to the B.
Yeah. the whole point for us thing is literally the data doesn't even need to necessarily need to be it's for like a one use per time, so it's
Yeah.
that kind of exactly the same as however you've done the dice app, which would be so like there's going to be a list of buttons on there. It goes like 1, 2, 3, 5. I
8,
think it's
13,
Fibonacci.
21.
Yeah.
It is Fibonacci, yeah.
So because that's how we score a piece of work. So like if all of us do it, and then if there's only 2 numbers in it, like but next to each other, we take the higher number. If there's any more than that,
You
we
know what?
discuss and
I've
revote.
never got the hang of story points. I really don't like them. I'd rather put actual times down. I'm just more comfortable with it. I think that's going to take about half a day. Or I think that's going to take 3 days.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, so there is obviously things with it, but because I mean, we actually brought that up in a discussion relatively recently. But just it'd be something. Just it'd be good just to have say like, so okay, you've got one of us or whoever is kind of like got the master sheet of the numbers come through. They press a button and then it shows everyone's numbers.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. And just some like it's literally pointy poker as a canvas app. And that's all I want. Like it's just something
that should be fairly straightforward, shouldn't it?
that's what I thought. But then I was just like, I've never actually built any app that has kind of like lots of users go into it, but one person sees everybody's answers. I've never built anything like that.
Yeah, so because again I'm trying to do the same thing here, so I can definitely show you some bits around how to test it. So one of the things I always have is that I always have it like you need to know who's logged in, obviously, but for testing you need to be able to try it as different people. So there's like, well, how do you hold that and how do you sort of trick it into pretending who's who and yeah, but no, I had real good fun yesterday and this morning, but it was really simple stuff that I was like, I used to just know this stuff. And then it was like, well, I need to put it in a variable. And do I want a collection or not? No. And then I couldn't work out why the first time I clicked the button, it would go from 0 to 1. And then I clicked the button again and it was like it wasn't doing anything. And I'm like, what the fuck? And it turned out that, of course, what I was doing was grabbing the data from SharePoint, holding it in a variable, and then saying it's like the variable plus 1. Except I've not grabbed it from SharePoint again. I'm patching SharePoint directly. So all I'm doing is just patching the number 1 over and over and over instead of actually the new value. But yeah, I got it working, and then when it's there now, so when he comes to me tomorrow or Friday when I'm back in and goes, I'm stuck, I can go, well, here's an app.
Well, if you're free, maybe some point next week we can
Definitely.
jump on and have a play.
Yeah.
Okay, but if we are ready.
Yeah.
So we join back in for part 2. Dante trying to throw me off there, but it's not going to work today.
Except for it changed what you were going to say, so I count that as a win.
He had to interrupt. But the group awoke, had sort of gathered together, had some rest, and awoke the next morning and have separated to go about their business. Volu and Eleni heading down, first of all, trying to spot themselves a smithy, maybe to gather some armor, before attempting to find the house that they had located previously. They believe they found it and have managed to convince and bribe their way inside. And in the meantime, Dante and Eechie have been making their way up towards the Zenith board. And that is where we will join in now. You and a whiteboard is a bad idea, yeah, for sure. But yeah, so joining in with Eechie and Dante as you pull up, you make your way very easily with Dante's previous stealth, moving through back alleys and only taking main streets when it's absolutely necessary, before arriving up to the gate of the House Glass estate. The attendant at the gate is different. However, you would notice the gates are already opening upon seeing one of their own vehicles.
You just drive straight in there.
Well, as you pull up, one of them will sort of step out and say, the masters are not in today. Neither Thaddeus nor his sister are around. Are you bringing the...
We're swapping cars. we're bringing this one back, and then now you're having to bring out the winning car.
I mean, you're welcome to check, but I know Master Thaddeus has been working on the car, but I do not know what his state right now. But I will make a note for him to head on through. Go on ahead. You are able to move through. And you know your way, so you make your way, you drive your way around. As you arrive to the workshop, it's closed, but you can. It's not like locked and bolted because you know, as much as he doesn't want people peeking, he trusts the security.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah. You guys, are you leaving the other vehicle just outside the?
Well, just leave it outside the where we were about to walk in, because if we can't drive the other thing, we might as well drive this one back out.
Okay. And you are able to make your way in. As you head in, it is dark in here. You will be, yeah. Do either of you have dark vision actually?
Nope, I'm a human.
I don't think Garundon do. No.
So you would remember like from previous times that you've been in here, there are usually like torches and lanterns along the wall, so you could very easily light a few. And making your way through, you can see that there's again, his workshop is in different states of he's got different machines and things at different states of repair. And at the back you can see that currently the vehicle is there and it still seems to have all its parts, but it is stripped of all the outer armor where you took most of the damage. And you can see that on the side they're sort of hammering out and straightening the armor again. You can see that there are a few that are done and are like drying, having been repainted and resealed. But yes, it's basically functioning, just no armor.
So that means it's faster, because that was the thing that slowed it down.
No, technically the thing that slows it down, because you already dropped all the weight and got to max speed. The 45 you were doing is like the max output.
Yeah, we could have made it more armored, but sacrifice speed, basically.
Yes. But basically, the normal, if you imagine even the cockpit, so the normal cover you get there, it's almost like shell and netting, metal netting, rather than a full plate of metal. Does that make sense? So you fully can take it if you wish.
Dante just looks over to Eechie and goes,
So,
yes.
cool.
Dante goes into the goes to, like, he'll call out. He'll just be like, "Is anybody here? Robots, droids."
It echoes out. Nothing. No response.
Neither of us can see magic or anything.
No. Well, I mean, I think you can, but not like just off the bat.
Well, yeah, no,
Ichi, can you see magic?
I'll cast see invisibility.
Yeah, there's no signs of any orbs or scrying or any divination in the area.
Can I just say, whenever we speak to Builder Man, they need to work on their security.
Dante, we're not just going to take this without alerting someone. We are currently.
You just said.
I said yes with a question mark, as if to say, "What are you thinking?"
If you just assume there's a question mark there, not everyone's always going to understand. You shouldn't assume things.
No, you're right.
I took that. I took
Dante,
that as
you are not stealing this vehicle.
I will also remind Dante, he did tell you had free pass to come and go because you told him you might need a place to stay. So you guys getting let in isn't as
No, that's fair.
you know what I mean? I will, like, the gate knows to just let you guys in if you need a place.
Well, he said we can come and go as we please. So.
Yes, that does not include with one of the vehicles he is currently working on.
Then why did you say yes?
I said yes with a question.
See, look, you need to work on your communication here, E.G.
You know what, Dante? At this point, I would much rather be talking to the other version of you. Oh, suddenly someone's a little bit quiet, are they? Right.
Wait till tomorrow.
Stay with me. Don't wander off, and Ichi's gonna go wander like around the
Again,
workshop.
he's just going to wander off.
He's gonna wander to the workshop kind of bits. It's just gonna check in reception, see if we can get a hold of what's his name? Where's my notes?
Bagheera.
The builder's called Bob.
No,
Thaddeus.
Bob, thank you.
Thaddeus Glass. So yeah, I'm just gonna try and find any kind of like reception employee, anyone.
Well, there's not really reception. There are a few employees around the main house, and you sort of get their attention and so, and then it's a tabaxi. They look like they're dressed for gardening. They've got sort of protective boots and like overalls that go all the way down and tuck into the wellies, and they're sort of kneeling at the moment, ripping out weeds from around the shrubs that sort of make the edges of the fencing.
Mm-hmm. Excuse me.
Yes, they just continue pulling, but
I don't suppose you know where Thaddeus Glass is. We are in need of conversation.
I saw them leaving this morning, but it's going to. I don't know, but it looked important. The whole shebang went out. Investors and all. I don't know what it was for, but
okay.
I would assume up towards the bastion, maybe.
Of course. Thank you very much. Right. We'll kind of like turn to Dante.
And Dante is not there. I'd say you look left and right. You're in that section of the very, very back of the house glass estate. There's a few, there's a few warehouses out here. There's like this strip left and right, nowhere to be seen that way. You're not far from the warehouse you were just in.
Ichi slowly starts walking back towards the warehouse, muttering to themselves, I swear if that vehicle is not there, then Tenebris is coming out today.
And as you arrive, you would see sat in the cockpit at the back of the warehouse. Dante is just sat, waiting for you to arrive.
Can you remind me what your title is again?
Currently, babysitter, adult of the group, someone who's getting very pissed off with someone who is so old as you are and yet cannot simply communicate and follow direction.
You're the one we had issues with communication. You said yes. And if you're saying babysitting, do you leave babies unattended? Because you just walked off.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought someone who's over 500 years old could listen to me when I said, right, stay by me, don't wander off.
Look, I know I've had a stressful time, but I don't think I look over 500.
Dante, I understand that you're trying to put a light-hearted spin onto all of this, but this is serious.
I know, this is our car.
No, it's not. Get out.
Just gets up.
Okay.
We're going to take the one that we already have. we cannot put ourselves in bad standing with the one family who at this point is happy to back us.
I agree. That was why I didn't understand you saying yes to take the car.
No, I was saying yes as in like, what are you thinking?
Look,
You looked at me
let's
with-
go. Let's go.
Okay. And getting back, do you want to? You would be able to leave a note if you want, or if you want to leave any sort of message. You are.
yeah, we'll write down on a parchment and kind of like leave it attached to the vehicle, just saying, chaotic embers looking to
Was
have,
here.
yeah, chaotic embers would like to
2024.
have a conversation about possibly having access to this vehicle for a longer period of time. Please get in contact when you can. Best wishes, Eechie.
P.S.
Yeah.
Preferably before 6 o'clock this evening.
To be fair, he has obviously said that once it's fixed, he more just said he needed to clear it with his sister and not.
Yeah, this is more just a note to kind of like let them know that this is something like sooner rather than later, rather than like yeah,
for sure.
Preferably today.
yeah, but I would say
You've got at least until tomorrow until you need to leave.
Yeah. No, yeah, but we were going to use it to come down, and I thought that it'd be a good thing to have potentially.
Yeah, but we've got a
run away.
Yeah.
We've got a vehicle that your steed can go faster than.
Yeah, so my steed can go faster than that.
I know, but that's at least that one's a little bit faster.
By hardly any.
I'll say as you start making your way down from the Zenith Ward, and I assume down towards the Crucible to leave a message for Sir Arthur at the Bloody Banner.
Yes.
Can you give me a new stealth? As I assume you are still trying to avoid any detection as you drive your way down, Dante.
Ooh, 14.
Okay. I'll leave as you start making your way down. And with that, I will flick back over to Volu and Eleni, currently disguised as a cleaner. And they sort of go, yeah, all right. And then you sort of turn and you start making your way, and they go like, what are you doing? You sort of turn away like, they're like holding a hand out, but not to Volu, to the Eleni, and you would get from your inside, they're like, I want whatever half of whatever they're giving you to like do this, right? Like they're in on it.
I would sort of like sigh, like roll my eyes, and then I'd sort of turn away so that I can stick my hand in my actual pouch, hopefully without them seeing, and but sort of almost like and then come back, and I would give them 1 gold.
Okay. They take the gold, like give like again disappear it and give Volu like a look before returning to the bathtub, and you guys are able to go through and enter there is only one door that sort of goes to that front bed like area where you know that the window was right above the front door. So you make your way down the corridor. Again, you hear some different noise from one of the doors. Sounds like like the fluffing of sheets and things like that. And make your way into the bedroom. As you enter, it is a mess. There are clothes all over, but in a fashion that looks like somebody got ready and couldn't decide. Like all by the mirror. The wardrobe that you saw from the outside is fully open, and the inside doors are 2 large mirrors.
But it's definitely the right wardrobe. We're definitely in the right house.
As Volu sees it, definitely the same wardrobe. You recognize the decor in the bedroom. But yeah, it looks like somebody got dressed and changed in front of the open wardrobe. The bed's a mess. There are drinks and bits of food trays all over. The party definitely spilled into here at points. What would you like to do?
So I'm gonna sort of look at Volu and say we need to do this quick. And I would.
I'd just slightly push the door to, so it's more close. People can't see what we're doing, and then
Okay,
Can I detect magic?
give it a go. Yeah, hit detect magic. Volu, anything you're doing while you see Eleni starting to weave her spell?
I'll start ruffling through the clothes.
Okay, so roll. Can now both of you, either one of you aiding or both of you roll, give me investigations.
Should we both do it, or do you want to?
You both pretty good at it.
Yeah. Should we do it each? Maybe
yeah.
guidance yourself as well.
Yeah. So where are we?
Okay. So that was an 11 for me. But yeah, is anything glowy, Liam, from the detect magic?
1 moment, sorry, I'm gonna wait for. Almost because you're doing this at the same time. I want to see what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
Yeah. What we're doing perception, right?
Investigation.
Investigation.
Oh, investigation. Okay. Where is my default? 18.
Okay, so you start scanning over the room. Straight to the clothes, start moving a few things, looking through. You're not seeing anything glowing. You pick out in the wardrobe, there is a glow, but as you get a bit closer, it seems like it's a comb. And it's like a very nice, almost jade and maybe some sort of bone decorative cone that has a soft glow of conjuration.
Ooh.
But no glow in any of the clothes pile. You sort of start to spread out a little bit. And Volu, you like moving some of the things. You can find a few other bits of clothes around the room that have been scattered and moved. And Volu, you look in and you find a few that maybe like there's a few outfits that have intricate decorative weaving on the outside of them. And you're sort of putting them out, and as you sort of finding each of the pieces and putting them out, Eleni, you sort of checking them over, and you do find one that along the pocket lining, it's almost like an entirely black, almost knee-length shawl. It's almost like a warm weather long outerwear, if that makes sense. So you'd wear it over the
like
top
a long
of your dress.
cardigan or
Yeah, with all with holes and all those sorts of things. But there's some areas around the edges that have been decorated with a different colouring, and you notice the glow along those.
Okay, I would call Volu over and show him. Does this look like the same thread?
You take a look, and it's not the same colouring, and that's sort of why you sort of missed it. But I'd say now that you're looking, you almost start to like unpick like you did with the other piece, and the same sort of dusty ash material sort of falls out of in between the tlinings, that would confirm it for you.
Yeah, that's the one. So whoever lives here either hasn't been infected or doesn't know that is in this shawl.
But I suppose both you and the woman who got infected. Gertrude. Thank you. I had a G in my head. I just couldn't find the rest of the name. Both you and Gertrude started to have problems when you started to actually weave with the thread. if you'd have just carried that thread around for a bit, I don't know if it would have.
So I
But
think
it-
you would
but it's
you would remember what you learned is that in its raw form it doesn't do a lot, but when it's been weaved with, that's
Yeah.
almost the activation process. So theoretically, and the fact you can see magic on it,
Mm.
theoretically it's active.
But then I suppose what's in my head is it acted on the person weaving with it. If somebody had then picked up the tapestry afterwards, just because this person's wearing a coat that happens to have the thread on a
Can both
pocket.
of you give me arcanas? Eleni, is any of your advantage stuff to do with extraplanary?
Don't think it is. Primeval awareness, so that's just creature's location.
Yeah, but it's not like your hunters, not your favoured foe bonuses for having advantage on knowing things about them.
That's favoured enemy, and it's humanoids and fiends. So it is fiends from the lower planes, that side, but it's not.
Okay, I'll say that you could apply it here.
Oh, okay. So advantage.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, what am I rolling, Liam?
Arcana.
Arcana. So that is a 15.
And Roland?
19.
Okay.
It's like 19, not 9.
Yeah. No, I got you. So Eleni, you're thinking, and the first sort of thought that Eleni has is that a lot of magical items, like you can't really just like enchant the thread. Once you've done it, once you've made it into an item, it tends to permeate the item and that. And like your coat or like any other item you guys pick up, sometimes they need a tuning to. Sometimes you actually need to use it in the way so like you can't wear a headband of intellect up your arm.
Yeah.
You have like in a lot of cases, you wouldn't just hold it and like, boom, I'm intelligent. You have to put it on, right? There's some of those items. So that's where you're sort of thinking. And then Volu, you sort of think, well, tapestries are supposed to be looked at and you were supposed to show them. Like you were supposed to when they announced the winners and like showed them to the audience when you were finished, you never got to that stage of like using the tapestry for its purpose. If that makes sense.
So do you think she's ever worn this? I mean, maybe somebody weaved it and then gave it to her and it's just been stuck in a wardrobe.
People were watching me and Gertrude as we were weaving, weren't they?
Either way, do we want to leave this here?
I'm not sure we should leave the thread. Maybe we could detach the thread and put the coat back.
Let's see how easy it would be to do that. If it's going to be really difficult, then I think we
I
should
would
take the
also
whole
say,
coat.
you think about time as you're sort of taking a look,
Yeah.
you do hear the downstairs door close as he would have returned, and as soon
Right.
you're not there anymore, so shut the door.
Unpicking it shouldn't take too long, like with my weaver's tools.
What I
How
normally
long's
know,
left?
but what you will remember from when you tried to do it with the tapestry is this is almost magically reinforced because it's a magical item, right? So if you remember from the thread, from when you did it in the tapestry with the help of the priest, it did take you quite a bit of time to you were almost having to take your time and
Yeah.
Let's just go out the window. Let's go out onto the balcony. We can even just chuck the coat out there and walk back through the house if you want.
How about I go through the window and you go through the house?
Yeah, but I think let's take the coat. Let's not mess about.
I'll put the coat on and jump out, kind of get out the window.
Okay, and then
Yeah,
I'll head out the bedroom as if I've been cleaning.
Okay, Eleni,
Mhm.
roll me a d100.
Damn.
And
Okay.
Volu, you head to the window, and the window does have a latch. Don't tell me your d100 just yet, Eleni. Hold that thought. Volu, you head to the window. It has the latch that you saw previously. That from this side, it's just obviously to undo it. You hoist up, and you can see it's not far, but it's a little bit of a jump to down to the ledge, and you jump down. As you land, you haven't been seen yet, but you see on the porch, the two houses that way, the feet of the grumpy old dwarf that's still just stood on his porch watching where you went in.
I did think this when we were doing it. I was like, Steve just watched us do all that.
Mhm.
So as I land,
So you sort of like, so you know that like you can see his feet, so he can't currently see you, if that makes sense.
oh,
So you've got a moment to either obviously like go for it, reveal yourself, and do something else, or try and drop it stealthy.
is let's say I'm gonna try and like, is there anything to hide behind on the
I mean,
porch of this?
you know from here if you dropped prone, he won't be able to see you. But there's nothing to hide behind as such. You could attempt to try and stealth down like the backside of the porch, but that will require a stealth and a climb, as it's it's like an actual.
Yeah, I climb round and then okay, I'll try and land prone.
Okay, so give me a stealth as you land softly and have to hit the deck. Hey Lenny, as Volo's doing that, what is your
I'm gonna try and guide myself doing that as well.
okay.
So when we first were speaking to that guy, they were cleaning in the front near the door, weren't they? They had like a.
Mhm.
So I'm just gonna come out and sort of walk back down the stairs and just head back down into the main foyer or that main area where the
Yeah,
party was.
and what was your D100?
63.
Okay. As you head down into the foyer, you hear some chatter and recognize the voice from the room that was having the glasses done. And you sort of hear them saying like, "Okay, good. Let me help you with this table." And you sort of hear them start to like, 1, 3, and like start to lift the table. Give me a stealth as you move to the edge. They're almost, if you imagine, there's multiple smaller tables that have been moved into the center for some larger food thing, and they're moving the table, so there's like one of them facing you and then they turn, and
Yeah,
you're like,
that's a 21.
you peek the door and manage to duck back as the person you are currently disguised as is like standing with the lift,
Yeah.
and you sort of give it a pause as you can hear them go like, okay, this way, and then move across, and you manage to dart to the door and step out.
Okay.
As you step out, you look to your left and right. There's no Volu, but there is a grumpy looking dwarf on his porch, just eyeing. And he's just like,
I would nod at him.
You're right there.
Go, head back. I'm gonna sort of almost do a step back into the room, drop the disguise self, and then almost like stumble out as if I've been pushed and pull the door behind me.
Oh,
So I'm gonna sort of
okay.
almost as if someone's looked and gone right out and.
So again, either deception or performance, and I'm going to give you advantage
Thank
because
you.
I like the play. I like it.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go. I mean, it's a +1 either way, right? So, please. Ooh, 16.
Okay, so you like jump forwards and manage like a bit of a stumble, even
Yeah.
as you like what you're doing is you obviously you like stumble out and
I'm gonna stumble out and sort of obviously not fall, but sort of stand up and be like, and then look at the dwarf almost like a nothing happened. Like like when a cat falls over and then just pulls himself up, like it was completely planned and there was. And if I'm not seeing Volu, I'll then scowl at the dwarf. So there's going to be a sort of, what are you looking at?
Mhm.
And then I will, I suppose, head towards, to leave the courtyard, but I'm taking my time about it
Okay, and I'll say that like,
because I don't know if he's gone out already. So I'm
yeah,
not
yeah,
sure
yeah,
where he
no,
is.
and I'll say that they do sort of they return to their seat at the porch, so they're not like stood to the ready. Vola, you would see the feet sort of like you would hear the sort of the footsteps sort of moving away, and that rocking chair sound as there's like the sitting down noise. And you would then get a peek of Eleni sort of making their way slowly towards the exit of the courtyard.
Okay. Yeah, I did already roll, didn't I?
You did.
I got an 8.
Okay.
That was with guidance.
Jeez. Okay, so like I'd say that the kerfuffle of everything, he's still watching, but I think the kerfuffle of them. See, I genuinely liked the maneuver that if you don't have inspiration, throw yourself an inspiration.
I do already have it, which yeah.
I think he's holding on to it. He's
Not
spending
often
it
I
fast
get
enough.
inspiration. I'm hanging
Honestly,
on
you
to
guys
it.
have been doing some really fun things recently. And
Maybe I probably should have used mine.
but Volu, I think you see an opportunity. I'd say that you could either go slow for no. Basically, it's a roll either way. You're either going quickly and trying to hold stealth with an athletics, or even an acrobatics, as you're just trying to like drop from the small porch and like roll out of it. Or you can go slow for no roll to get down because it's fairly easy handholds, but you will need a new stealth.
Okay.
I'll leave that one up to you.
Okay. I'm gonna try and go for some acrobatics.
Okay.
That face says it all.
Literally.
8.
Jesus.
Jesus
2 again.
No, that time, the past 2 times were both 6 plus 2.
Can I ask? Because if Eleni gets to the outside of the courtyard, and
I'm literally just gonna go.
You're not getting that
next
far.
to her.
I was gonna say.
You don't get you like not next to them. You're maybe halfway between the porch and the gate when there is just a and Volu just lands face down. The cloak almost like the cloak's almost trailing slower after
Oh my
him, and it
God.
just covers him over. So he just looks like a small pile of leaves that have just appeared from nowhere. The dwarf does stand up again and like.
As he stands up, I'm gonna turn and walk back towards him really quickly. And I am quite big, right? So I am sort of going to walk right up to him and go, "Did you look at me funny for a reason then?" Just to try and...
Give me an intimidation. Volu, what are you doing while, again, this moment of distraction?
Oh, fuck. 4.
I'm on the floor like my knee going.
Yeah, as this shambles, he just goes, "I'm calling the guard," and then he like heads inside, and
As he
starts
goes
going.
inside, I'm going to be like, "Good, call the guard, because you're really suspicious, mate." And I'm looking at like, fucking move. And then I'm gonna, yeah, and head out.
Very easily.
I'm gonna like run after.
It was a very
Right.
successful
Up
entry.
until the end.
The exit needed work. That was good. You guys managed to book it down the street. And where do you want to head now? Obviously, you've located. Once you get far enough
We're
away,
supposed to be buying food.
So obviously, I'd say that by the time you like book it away and get to the end of the street, suitable distance where you're not going to be spotted. Volu's belly gives a rumble. Do you want to sort of again? You almost know if the guys are going to the Bloody Banner that's next to the market and such for food anyway.
Yeah.
Or you can go to somewhere you're quite near the Rusty Bucket if you wanted to pop into there.
I think I'd rather get down to the market now. I don't want to get caught nearby just in case.
Yeah, Volo's just still wearing the shawl.
But let's
I put
take.
my hands in the pockets and like just twirl it, going, "This feels nice."
Yeah, I'm gonna help him take it off, and I'm gonna roll it up.
Oh,
I'm gonna roll it up inside out so that it's like the lining that's showing, not the outside of it. And I'm gonna roll it up quite tight and put it in one of our backs, like whatever,
Okay.
wherever that'll fit. And I'm just like, I don't like you wearing that with the thread on it. I'm not sure that's a good idea.
I guess you're right.
Maybe when the thread's off it, you can wear it then.
Let's get some food.
Let's get some food.
Okay, you begin to make your way down to the market. I'd say by this time, I flick over back towards Dante and Eechie. You guys are basically most of the way down there. This time you have been spotted a few times. There's been a few moments where you've had to actively lose people. Not huge crowds, but just the occasional person that sees the ginger hair flying behind the vehicles. They're like, oh, that was the Chaotic Embers. And obviously, having seen the jump the other day, word has gotten around that the Chaotic Embers are just driving around doing stunts sometimes. You might just see them.
Yeah.
And there are a few times, but with the 14, you do manage to shift them and lose them when necessary. Before
I don't want to do another stunt now.
before making your way down and getting towards the Crucible and the Bloody Banner. Thinking of stealth, it's up to you guys. You either want to take the long way round, avoiding the open grass area, which now that the festival is over, is now returned to just an open grass area, or ditch the vehicle. As in, like, park it somewhere and walk across, because there are still people moving through the market. You could vet fairly easily.
We'll go the long way because it's always good to have your vehicle close.
Okay. You make the long way round before pulling up at the fairly busy Bloody Banner, but you can see that the busyness is a lot of wagons preparing to leave. You can see that there's a number of stable hands brushing down and cleaning horses, sort of fitting the different saddles or bridles and stuff like that. Feed the sort of packing up the different wagons. You can see all the drivers that have probably just been chilling and enjoying themselves return to work.
So because we told everyone we were in here as well, didn't we?
You did, but it has also been
It's been a couple days.
4 or 5 days of people because you put out the secret before the race happened, is what I mean. So there's been a number of days of people coming here to find you and being told that you've not been here. You left. So I'd say by now you can be careful if you want, and there might still be people who are like, maybe they might show up again. But you essentially have not frequented this place the entire time of the festival. So you're fairly safe. But if you still want to...
I'll still just, park my little car, just put it into a nice place, reverse park. Kind of good.
Yeah, you put it, and again, because a lot of the wagons are preparing to leave, the space in the place, the areas where they'd hitch up for a while, and you are able to jump out.
Dante just leans to Eechie.
So are we just leaving the guy a message?
Pretty much, yes.
Do we know if he's here now or will he be here later?
I don't know until we walk in. If he is in, I'll talk to him in person. If he's not, I'll leave a note for him.
And you want me to join?
I don't see why not.
Okay. I just thought I'd ask.
Thank you for being considerate for the first time today.
Sorry, did you mean something else by that? Gets out of the
Yeah.
car.
Yeah, of course I did. Yeah, Ichi steps out and walks into the bloody banner.
Okay, so
Just opens the doors like Western kind of style.
you open up the doors and the room it seems fairly, it's not super busy, but it's fairly packed, and again there's a lot of movement of just people getting things ready. There's things being brought down from rooms that are being ready to be loaded, and you can see there's a few different groups that are drinking and eating. You As you enter, though, I'd say Ichi, you don't immediately see them, but you hear the voice that you recognize as Arthur Grant, sort of laughing and saying, "Pass me another piece of bread." And it seems like it's coming from one of the booths just round the corner. You see again the central bar, and as you enter, they sort of nod and say, "Don't mind all the stuff. We have rooms and food if you're looking for it." And they're sort of motioning for you to come on in.
Ichi will wander towards the sound of Sir Arthur's voice.
Okay.
Dante follows behind him with his general happy face. General happy face.
So as you round the corner, you would see Sir Arthur currently sat at a round table. Their armor is literally like hanging on their chair to their side, like their top breastplate. They're still wearing the sort of greaves, and it looks like you, if you had to guess, they arrived in the last hour or so.
Mhm.
There's still the dust on them from the desert, and they're sat around a table with three much cleaner individuals that you imagine got here either earlier or maybe he was pulling up the rear or something. That you get in that feel. They are in full dress down. You know, they're in the like underclothes essentially. And you would see a human male, looks to be about 19. They seem very tall, even in their sat down position. They have cropped dark hair, and they seem to be like holding a very serious expression in all the like laughter and jovialness at the table currently. You can see that their skin has almost like an ashen hue across the neck and face that sort of covers up to about half the face and over the eye. And I'd say that Dante, both of you have been close enough to burn scars to recognize them. You would see the starts of what looks to be a much larger burn down the back.
Of who?
The human 19-year-old male. They're sort of sat to the left of Sir Arthur. Sat to the right of Sir Arthur is a fairly well-built dwarven female. Looks quite young, but also they've got you see sort of the marks on the hands that sort of give the signs that maybe they smithed or crafted in some way. There's those not battle wounds, but you see there's the calloused fingers and rough edges. They have auburn hair that is tied in a tight braid. Her face is crisscrossed with large scars that run from left temple over the cheek and down to the jawline. As you're sort of moving round, and Sir Arthur they're all looking at him, and he obviously looks up and sees you. As he's going, "Ichi, join me. I was just," and they turn. You see all of her scars glimmer with like a silvery reflection through them, almost as if there's like silver inlined into the scars. And as her eyes meet yours, Ichi, you see like striking steel grey, watching with like almost scanning you. You would get that passive insight would pick up almost like immediate danger. Like even though the call was friendly and jovial, that surprise of I didn't know who was there. They lock eyes with you with like at first scanning like almost a fear level, and then relax again. And
She's in like threat assessment mode kind of thing.
You would gather that. Before she does calm and sort of shrugs themselves off, and finally sort of sat with their back to you as they sort of like turn in the chair, you would see a half orc. Looks again to be maybe late 20s. Very large, even by half orc standards, powerful frame. They're green skin, but as they turn to you, their face is almost marked with webbing style scars that seem to give off a purplish blue tinge as they turn to look at you. The left tusk is entirely like almost, it's like a stub, as it looks like it's been sawn clean. And the right one is very like torn and jagged. It's like it was long damage that they weren't able to repair. As they sort of as you sort of see this group, they're all just sort of eating breakfast. So Arthur says, join us. I have just returned and I am meeting up with my squires and my group. Our other knight, Delrond, is not here at the moment, but if you would please join us. As you how do you react to this? I don't want to assume you approach.
Seeing like the colors and everything of like the silver and the purples on the two individuals, there is an aspect of like confusion, because obviously like I'm guessing Ichi's never seen anyone with those kind of like textures in their skin on scars and such.
Other than the only one that's familiar is the burns.
Yeah. Ichi kind of like
sorry, go on.
Ichi nervously kind of like very much like someone who is new to the order and everything, kind of like meeting someone who's been doing this for a while. There is obviously that aspect of you're actually a knight, like you have got the title. I am trying to get there. There is not necessarily like
reverence.
Yeah, reverence, not necessarily like, oh my god, it's you, because obviously Ichi's met. Paul's gone.
For God's sake, Paul. We have sat here, waited for our turn.
So I heard him laughing.
I mean, if you're gonna have technical issues, you could have at least been polite and done it at the start of this session. That's what happens when two spiders run into each other. No one's reacted to Dante at all yet, have they? They've just been staring at Ichi.
Yeah, no one's
That's cool.
Specifically, they've not really looked upon you yet.
That is cool. What's really rubbish is knowing the fact that my insight is 9 and my perception is 9. So even if they all go, we're going to kill this guy, he won't know.
Yeah. Okay.
And if they do say we're going to kill this guy, that's okay.
Yeah. Are you fully back, Paul?
I believe so.
Okay, sweet. So yeah, as you're sort of slowly approaching,
Liam, hang on. I need to move us. Sorry, because he came back in, but we're not in the right order now. So sorry, give me just a sec.
No, it's okay.
Sorry.
What order are we in? Who's playing who?
You can be Eleni if you like.
I wouldn't do it half as good as you can.
Yeah, think what fun I could have with Dante.
Dante's a fun character to play, which is great, because when I first made him, wasn't a big fan of him.
Yeah.
But yes.
No comment. Go for it.
But yes, as you sort of approach with that sort of reverence and sort of giving the curious looks to the others, they do Forgive me. The half orc closest to you, that is tied, and they extend a hand. You would see, so the half orc extends a hand out towards you, and you would see webbed fingers as they sort of reach out with a hand to shake your hand. This one over here is Renna, pointing at the dwarf, and that's Wrenna.
Cool.
Tide is literally like the tide.
Tide, T-I-D-E.
Yeah, there's no odd spelling there. And then and this young one's Ash. And as the human fully turns again, Dante, they have similar scarring to you, but whereas yours has come up as scars, their skin is almost ash color and black and almost peppercorned through as they turn and look. And again, it runs that same sort of down the face and down the shoulder and arm. But you also saw the burns on the back that did look more like burns over whatever that is. Again, the half orc sort of gives you a grin and says, "Welcome. It is nice to meet you." And they still sort of extend the hand.
Yeah, Ichi will kind of like shake. Oh, hello. I'm Ichi, as Sir Arthur said.
The Renner will sort of, you see the dwarf, they relax a little bit, say, it is good to meet another Knight of the Order. I assume that this is your squire, and they sort of look over towards Dante.
I mean, at this point, he might as well be, but no, this is my companion, Dante.
As you sort of, Arthur sort of clasps her on the shoulder, says, Ichi here, unfortunately, did not, though he stands as a knight, as you see, did not finish his anointments. You would see almost like sad, but like almost in companionship, as the three squires almost look a little like that, like how it would feel to be stuck a squire with, you know, that sort of thing, as the sort of you would see the human gives a more quizzical look to try, or maybe trying to ponder about how, maybe where your master is, etc. But the orc just sort of again, the hand says, I'm so sorry to hear that. Come, join us. They sort of like motion for you to take a seat. Again, Dante, they don't seem to be reacting in any way, but they have just sort of assumed, even with the dismissal of Squire, they're not like reacting oddly to you now. It's almost passed over due to the...
No, that's fine.
Ichi will, pull up a chair. Well, two chairs, one for themselves and one for Dante. How did your mission outside of the city go?
Well, but it was long. The zone, there was a lot of them actually, and moving quite erratically. I'll be honest, I thought I was going to get some rest, but we are, from what I hear from my squires, more zone was spotted in the crevasse near the city.
Yes, part of the reason I wanted to come see you so urgently is that we kind of ran into them. We were taking part in the Doom Hakra race, just as a light part of revelry while we were in the city, and while we were in the crevasse, there was Zorn and a golem that seemed to attack, and Ichi will pull out their notebook and kind of like flick to the page of like the sigils that were over them, over the golem. The golem seemed to have these.
As you're doing and starting, the orc is sort of has been getting a plate together and is just sort of putting it in front of you, and doing the same with Dante's. They're just sort of getting you food and putting it down for you.
Dante's just kind of sat there quietly, just kind of eyeing up the situation. He's a little bit awkward.
And sorry, continue. They're almost doing this around you as you're doing your thing.
It seems that the golem itself had these kind of sigils marked over it. They seem Lyrixan in origins, but it just seemed quite confusing as to what the purpose of them were. As they all came to almost evacuate from another cave within the crevasse, to the point in which I believe the Zorn themselves were almost fearful of the golem.
Interesting. Something that the Zorn's fear would be...
I'll lean over to just Ichi and just low voice, but obviously I'm not stopping anyone else here.
and the infection.
Yes, we've recently come across a infection within the city, which seems to be extraplanar in origins, but it seems to corrupt and infect whatever whatever it comes in contact with, and can, as far as we are aware, only be cured in the process by magical fire, possibly elemental fire, more specifically.
Maybe some sort of a curse from another plane, maybe. Renna, during your duties today, you are to look into this. Any recent or historical evidence of infections from the other planes making their way through? And she should like immediately, yes, sir, starts making a few notes.
If it would be okay, around 6 o'clock tonight, myself and my companions are going to be venturing back down to the cave in the crevasse. We would very much enjoy it if you were to accompany us, as there are some other aspects which we would like to converse with you about.
As he sort of sits back and thinking again, his eyes sort of flick up over you, and he goes, "Ah, Delmont, come meet. This is the young knight, the young squire. Basically, knight. We should sort that Eechie. Shouldn't be that much of an issue. We would need to be back in the." And as you sort of turn, he's just sort of blabbering away, and you would see approaching behind, wearing Watcher armor. You would note Eechie. It's old. It's almost the same sort of design as your Master Bruce had. So you think from his era of, because again, every sort of, they make modifications, they make improvements, they make changes. So there is differences through the ages of what, and again, what you were fighting. If you're fighting something that like spews molten lava, the whole armor shit doesn't matter, and you go light armor to, but you would notice that it looks to be sort of from your master's generation. And you would see a human with a nice, so it looks like a scruffy beard, but it's been nicely sort of cleaned and shaven up and neatened up. But it's still like quite unkept and rugged where they've left it. Tanned olive skin. You would see they sort of they are human. They walk in their armor, and seeing the group, you'd see that they see Eechie and like almost interestingly sort of give you a smirk and say, "Found a new friend, have we, Arta?" And they look over to Dante.
This is the guy from the thing, isn't it? From the tower.
Dante.
Dante. I mean,
do you think? Well, I'll leave it to you, because as you're looking at them, they don't look or give you the same feel. When you saw the glimmer of the locking eyes, they were almost a dark black with a golden ring around them that was almost like piercing. This guy has like light blue, greeny eyes.
That's the case, because Dante didn't hear the name. Chris heard the name. Dante didn't hear them say Del whatever. Del boy.
Delrond.
That's it.
And they Dante, you can give me an insight rolled rather than passive, as their eyes linger on you for a moment, as they are sort of just going in, and this is...
It's the same.
Arta goes to introduce and goes, "Oh, my apologies, friend. How rude of us. We didn't get your name."
My name is Dante Vickhausen. Nice to meet you all.
Dante Vickhausen, associate and companion of our Squire Eechie here. Again, the second he gets the name, the eyes flip back and he sort of grins and say, "Ty, don't save me some food, please. Come on, move over." And they sort of and again the squires start getting food ready and preparing it and setting him a plate. as he's sitting down, Arthur says, they were just talking about maybe venturing down into the crevasse. I told you the guards have reported someone down there. Also mentioned of a golem. The guards didn't mention that one, but sometimes they don't mention things that aren't obviously extra planar. Although I think interesting that the zone were running from it, maybe some sort of weapon. And I almost in time, but just after an Eechie, and actually I think you'd both catch it because you're more that end of the table. As Arthur says some kind of weapon, Delrond says some kind of threat. As they sort of like almost like pondering it, you sort of muttering to themselves more than saying it. I was thinking about joining them. Would you like to come with? And Delrond goes, me and the squires have some business within the city there is still the matter of payment for the zone now that you have returned with confirmation. Says, yes, Delrond here is. I would forget all of the important things. He was a noble before all of this. As he's talking, he says, Arthur, you talk too much. It has been a long morning already. I might retire with my food. You would see that Tide would stand with him and sort of say, should I prepare for us to head out? So, yes, prepare my ceremonial armor. We will be meeting with the Prime Minister today. Settle our dues. And then he sort of turns to each Dante and Eechie, gives a quick bow. It was a pleasure to meet you both.
And yourself. Hopefully we do again in a more relaxing time.
They nod. And to the others, they say, I will see you later, Sir Arthur. You would see to Sir Arthur, he gives a swift but ceremonial like salute of the arm to the chest. That Ichi, you get the feeling, even though Sir Arthur definitely gave you younger vibes in the armor design and the way he acts and everything, that's definitely showing a seniority of Arthur runs this little outfit or this squad, as it were. Or is at least in charge for the moment. Because again, Bruce did tell you about times that knights from other chapters would go out to help and you de facto under their leader, right? Whether you're higher or not, you don't just step into another, it's not good etiquette to step into another person's chapter and start trying to order people around, even if you are of higher rank. But you get the feeling that right now, for the very least, Arthur is in charge. And then they both Tide and Delron will head out holding their plates. As they're going, Tide will again extend a hand and almost grasping at your hand, Ichi, before you even offer it, almost, as they really good to meet you. And we should talk sometime. When they're resting, sometimes the squires go out. We might be in the city a few days, so we can let you know.
Yeah, if once all of this is done, perhaps I think we might be planning on heading out quite soon after once this is done. But yeah, if there is a little bit of time, I'm sure I would love to.
Right, great. And again, he says a hand out to Dante, and you would see that there is no flicker of look towards your scars. They're like unfazed as they just extend a hand, smiling. Nice to meet you, Dante. And you try and give him the lackluster, and he like grips the other side and gives your hand a shake. And then Delron was tired. Come on. And then, sorry, sir. Yes. See you later, guys. And then he sort of heads on him.
We did see when, I mean, in the world, maybe Delrond is as common as the name Chris, but he did have someone with him, didn't he? So which now could sound like a squire,
but not anyone that you recognise.
Okay.
The other person, and Dante, I will give you this.
I'm not, to be honest, I'm not sure how much Dante actually saw.
I will say you won't know race, but because of their size, they were definitely of the smaller races because they were a lot smaller.
I thought
like of the level of it was either a child or it was one of the other races. That level of size difference, right?
Yeah.
They're definitely not here. As everyone here looks quite well built and all looks like they train. This look definitely more scholarly vibe than any of these guys. And Delron would leave. Arthur would say, so yes, you were saying 6 p.m.
Yeah, 6 p.m. in the crevasse, just in the basin of it all. That's when we are going to be attending.
There are still some guards assigned down there, so it shouldn't be too hard to get down there. We'll head down. We'll find the captain that's running the situation, and we can meet you there before we head any further. It might only be me and Ash, but I'm sure we'll suffice.
That should be absolutely fine. Thank you very much. And like I say, when we are down there, we do have a slightly more personal thing to talk to you about as well, but we'll get to that when it comes.
Until then, my friends, I've got sand inside my Under Armour. I need to get rid of it.
No,
And he
of
sort of walks away. You would see Ash gets up and goes with, and Renna would sort of take a few more bites. You would see that they definitely give Dante more stares than Eechie. There's almost like but I would say that from what you gather from your passives, it's almost like Eechie is an image she recognizes, right? Like she knows what the knights look like. She knows they're safe. That you're an unknown. It's that sort of vibe more than it is like I know what you are, right? It doesn't give you that sort of thing. It's just like I don't know what the fuck you are. And they definitely just eat a few more things and then go, well, I have some research to do. Master Eechie, I do hope you take us up on our offer.
I would certainly do my best. Thank you.
They don't offer a hand to either of you, but they do sort of like,
the nod, yeah.
And then they will head out. Again, as they pass, there is the shimmer of the scars.
As the table is cleared and everyone's gone, there's just this sigh of relief from Eechie of, whew, that went a lot better than I thought it was going to. That was exciting. Like we meeting the other squires as well.
Why did you not think it would go well?
Well, it was not necessarily that it wouldn't go well, just more that I would fumble. I can talk the talk when I want to, but these are people who know what they're doing, and like Sir Arthur is a full knight, and I'm still a squire, and there's an aspect of meeting other squires and having them look at me with disappointment when they know that, well, when they see that I'm still a squire. It was my first time kind of meeting other people who were on my level, so I was anxious.
That is understandable. You did well.
Thank you. And yeah, so Sir Arthur and Ash might be there tonight, which would be nice. A little bit more reinforcement to obviously investigate what the Zorn and the Golem were doing. And
I mean, I didn't know we were actually investigating anything. I thought we were just talking.
I mean, we are preliminary, like we are mainly talking, but also that was an issue. Like I have said that it was weird. You're more than welcome to not join me for that aspect, but
I'll be down there, so.
Yes, but you don't have to get involved in watch or work.
I know. But I will be there if needed. I'm just saying I was not aware we were also looking into it.
No, I think I had just assumed that, well, I was going to be doing that anyway.
Okay. And as we leave you guys there and flick over to Volu and Eleni, who now have secured. Volu's got one of everything from the street sellers. There's a nice little chicken pitta thing. You've got a few sausage on sticks. Some cream pie things for afterwards. And Volu's now happy bunny. Eleni probably more conservative with food purchases.
I would have bought something to eat now while he's munching, but I've also bought maybe like a loaf of bread, like a dried meats or things that we
Yeah.
can snack on later to take back for the others.
I'll say if you both want to knock off 2 gold for like everything, that's all the things
Yeah.
you're going to purchase food and drink wise today. But you would be able to make your way down and arrive at the market. I'd say straight away, Eleni, you can see that a lot of the stalls and sellers that were from deeper within the Zanagaev Desert are all like their carts and things are being brought to pack up, but they're still selling, right? They're still like
Yeah.
getting the most out of the light before they have to shut down fully. And you imagine that after tonight they will pack up. The bits where you've got your bread and cheese and things, that's just the permanent stalls that are always there. You do see as you're moving through a few armor stalls, and you definitely see that like you could pick up some basic stuff
Okay.
if you wanted.
I think what I'm looking for is, so I want a breastplate and I want something that's going to give me some protection, but it doesn't need to be shiny, in your face. It needs to actually be quite subtle. Something that won't catch somebody's eye. Because I'm going to be wearing it under my coat anyway, but that sort of, it doesn't have to be all shiny and polished and embellished or anything. It just needs to protect me.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I'd say that if it was something standard, you could definitely get it. If you want to have a quick look around and see if there's anything of the not necessarily fancy variety, but something that's definitely being, because a lot of these things they are made, so they're priced, right? So even if that bit of armor doesn't look fancy, if it's priced at $1,000, it probably does something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's that aspect of knowing how you've been in this market, you've been in the city a little bit.
I mean, if
So
it's
you
priced
can
at
both.
$1,000, I can't afford it anyway. But
No,
yeah,
but you know what I mean? Like that's just
yeah.
the example of, and I know Volu, you wanted to take a look for some diamonds.
Yes.
So if you want to give me an investigation, to how many? Because to be honest, I think just getting hold of like a standard 300 for a once-off revivify, I don't think that would require an investigation. More just going to each of the, you need to go to each
Yeah,
of
I'll
them and
be
just
looking around and
get the thingy. If you want more than that, I would require an investigation. If you want
No.
like two doses of it, then that's when you're gonna have to maybe start looking for people.
I wouldn't be. I don't have that kind of money on me. But I do. So yeah, I'm just after one. I'm hoping I don't have to revivify more than once, which is like the main aim.
Okay, so both of you investigations for your individual things.
Okey-doke. 14.
Investigation. What's my dirty 20?
Nice.
Okay, so Vola, you very easily, you do have to buy it in, like 50 here, 50 there, but you will be able to knock off 300 gold and add, it is 300, I believe, right, for
Yeah.
Revivify. I've remembered
Yeah.
that right. And Eleni, as you're looking around, there's the standard stuff, but you do pick up on a few of the sellers that are like leaving. They are like, they're shouting out, "Wow, we got this thing!" And there's a few pieces that grab your attention. So one of them, at first, you're looking at it, and it looks like a black scale mail. Now, obviously, not what you're looking for at first, and as you sort of like, thinking it jingles a bit of stuff. The seller sort of talks to you and says, if you look more like you favour range and stealth, well, this is actually crafted to shift and give advantage in natural areas. It can also blend with an environment for a time, and sort of mechanically, it counteract. You have no disadvantage, even though it's a scale mail. It counters out that. And if when you're in natural environments, deserts, forests, caves, those sorts of things,
Yeah.
you actually gain an advantage on stealth checks made.
Ooh. Okay.
However, you have to be standing still.
Okay.
Just like it literally sort of shifts, and he
That makes
sort of
sense.
runs. They run their like red cloak behind it, and you see it sort of takes on like a red, purpley hue that would.
Mhm.
And once a day, you can turn invisible for a minute
Oh, okay.
as the spell. So it's until you
Yeah.
do something.
So I would say yes, I'm going to be traveling and I suspect I'm going to need to hunt to feed myself. So the more stealthy and the better camouflage, the better to be able to do that. I assume this is expensive though.
They give you a look. Say, well, I need to sell it before I go. How could you could you meet me at 600?
Knock it down. Knock it down. Knock it down.
My persuasion is shit.
And I will say, with the investigation you did earlier, you did see a breastplate for an actual. So obviously, the things for Eleni to factor here, or for Mum to factor more, is even though the scale mail. So if you want to look at a scale mail,
Yeah, I'm looking at it now, but it's the new rules and it. So yeah, this is the irritating thing, right? So
yeah, I've actually stopped going there, and I go to
no,
the
this was
roll
to
20
add.
instead.
This was literally the manage inventory on my
Oh,
character sheet. Is if you were going to go and buy scale mail, it's now the 2024 rules, and so it doesn't say anything about disadvantage.
Okay, so basically,
Yeah.
it's actually exactly the same. So if you got this one, it is essentially 14 plus 2 on your dex.
Right.
So
I'm gonna try it out, Liam. I'm just going to add it on and equip it and see what it does.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that does bump. So it does bump me to a 16, and it gives me a disadvantage on stealth at standard scale mail, even though that's not in the description of the.
Yeah, that's fine.
Is that because it's
so
medium?
It's it's become
Right.
literally everything above light except for breastplate. Breastplate is the only thing above a light armor that
Okay, that makes
doesn't
sense.
provide disadvantage.
Is that right?
Oops.
Yeah.
Well, there's more than that.
I mean, there might be some magic or homebrewedy things, but in
No,
terms
I
of the
thought-
standard, in terms of the standard,
Yeah.
no, every other medium or heavy armor provides disadvantage.
I think in Eleni's head, it's like if this has advantages over just a standard breastplate, and if it's going to give the same, if it's not going to cause disadvantage and it's going to give the same basic protection, I think it's probably worth the extra money. In my head, and just because Dante likes to chat up these people.
No, this is Chris. Whenever he goes into like a market, you always try to be like, would you do it for 100?
Yeah, but Emma doesn't do that. that's not how Emma works either. So, as an insight, do I think this guy's trying to pull a fast one?
I was just saying the price they ask is the price they ask.
Yeah. You don't. I mean, there's definitely you can see that it's currently listed at 800. So they're not knocking crazy amounts off, but they did knock it down.
It's a quarter. I'm just going to shake his hand and say done.
Okay.
And I'll hand over 600 gold.
So to be fair, it might be easier if you want to make that.
If you send me the details
Yeah.
on Messenger, Liam, I'll create it.
And
I'll knock off the money.
And Volu, I'd say as you return to Eleni, there are again, like you walk down the set, there are people sort of shouting out. You would notice there's a few nice things in there in terms of there's a few magical items that people are trying to. Again, and from the last time you came down, you actually see the seller that had the sandstorm style shawl that cloak that Eechie was did take a little look at. Then again, they're just trying to get rid of the last bits. You don't see some of the other things you were looking at left. But there are some potential grabs here that were made for the festival, and you imagine like they don't actually need that back home. That they needed the money that it would provide for the village. So there's some of that aspect. But as you two get back together, Volu with a fresh pouch of 300 diamond, and Eleni, as you sort of approach Volu, you would see that she's sort of being handed. It looks like at first it looks dull. It's almost like a dull black scale mail. But as she sort of reaches her hands under it, you would see the colour sort of shift slowly to match the colour of her sleeve and her fur. And as you root back up and Volu sees that, that is where we will end part 2 of this episode. Thank you very much for joining. As always, thank you very much for listening. If you are enjoying the adventures and you want to know when the next video is coming out, hit the like, subscribe, and the notification bell. The notification bell.
Bing.
Bing. So you know when the next video is coming out. And as always, roll well. Bye.
Thank you, guys.
This is the end of part 1. Part 2 airs Sunday 7 PM GMT, or will be linked in the top right of your screen now. Thank you for watching, and roll well.